I submitted, and just last month we received notification that we were awarded the full grant funding that we requested to help us with our mission here in the amount of $15,000.
Excellent. Thank you. So board members, our action item here is consideration of approval of the donation to Grants FFA from the Community Foundation of Southern New Mexico in the amount of $15,000. Superintendent?
I recommend that we accept the donation of $15,000 to Grants FFA.
Excellent. Board members, is there a motion to approve the $15,000 donation to Grants FFA from the Community Foundation of Southern New Mexico? And a second, please.
Second.
Excellent. It has been moved by Ms. Hunt Daly and seconded by Mr. Jaramillo to approve the $15,000 donation to Grants FFA from the Community Foundation of Southern New Mexico. Any discussion, board members?
So the funding that this funding is meant for is primarily to help us with our travel opportunities, travel to competitions, leadership conferences. We have a couple of events coming up now in the next several months. We have for our officers in August, with the students in the state fair, as well as a student competing at the National Day Convention in October. So this funding is meant to help us offset this cost with travel, transportation, meals, lodging, registration, all this. Sorry? So at the state fair, we will actually be helping with the New Mexico Red Barn, which is a walkthrough exhibit for fairgoers to learn about agriculture. New Mexico hosts that every year. So we get to go in with the animals and basically teach the public about agriculture and how it impacts their daily lives.
But you have actual, you work with animals too, or?
A couple of my students do. My students do have animals. I do a lot of work with the Bi-County Fair as well. So lots going on, lots of things bubbling into the surface. Hopefully we'll have a few more students with animal projects in the next years.
Certainly, you're reading that process that we grew up with in down the fair.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Any further discussion, board members?
Well, like Emily said, it's good to bring back the basics of growing in your yard and animals around us. Yeah.
And still do, right? All right, let's proceed to a roll call vote. Mrs. Turley, please.
Mrs. Daly?
Yes.
Mr. Jaramillo?
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Lee?
Aye, the motion carries. Congratulations on that and good job getting that money into your program. Excellent. Mr. Weiner.
At this time, I wanted to bring the board up to speed with kind of the happenings, our preparations for next school year. We are just a few weeks away from starting the school year, and we definitely want to make sure that we have good running air conditioning and that kind of stuff going on in schools. So I've asked Mr. Jones to come and give us a facilities report and let us know how those preparations are going.
Excellent.
Perfect. Madam President, members of the board, it's no secret that we've had some facility issues in the last calendar year. So as soon as we dismiss students, we really try to get in front of it. And I wish I could take credit for it. Our maintenance guys and ours that you guys have been working hard, making sure that we are prepared for worst case scenario. In terms of that, I just wanted to update you on a number of things. One, the special education building that's right here on 2nd Street. It does not have a working air conditioning. So last summer when it was 100 degrees, I think it was 100 degrees in those rooms, and that's something that you all approved some time ago. We got on the schedule, and they'll have a grant working on that in the next weeks. That was something that was long overdue that we were able to accomplish and get buttoned up. Additionally, Grants High School has kind of been the thorn in everybody's side regarding heating and cooling. And you notice that we have this big cooling tower that you also approved the purchase of. And they put phase 2 on a closed loop system, so that system is functioning. Phase 1 just went through a number of system cleanouts as well, where they cleaned all the distributors. They're also going to flush the whole system in the next little bit. So on top of that, you also made a motion to approve a bunch of portable units. So our electrician and our maintenance guys are working classroom by classroom, working with the administration at Grants High School to place those portable units so that we can supplement the systems. On top of that, the state has awarded us a split for that project, and we're in the process of going out to get bids for the design and build. We sent an RFP out some time ago, and we did not get any suitable ones. So that we can get the right players involved to make sure that we're not just limping by every year, but that it's totally foolproof. I also wanted to touch on something else that has been going on. Two other things. One, our technology upgrades with the 5 million data centers and all that is going super, super well. So in our last board meeting, the discussion about congestion on the guest network at Grants High School and that Laguna High School during sports events and things like that has come up. And we have been able to mitigate a lot of that with these fiber upgrades, which was the project that we were able to use prior years E-rate money to fund. So that's been really awesome. The second thing is our maintenance guys have already gone through Mesa View, Mount Taylor, Cubero, and Lambs, and made sure that all of their portable units, because Mesa View and Mount Taylor still have swamp coolers, and we had some other issues. So I just want to commend all employees for taking that initiative and making sure that on the first day of school, we don't have teachers trying to give quality instruction in a room that's uncomfortable. The temperature is the last thing on the mind, so they can focus on that. And it's going well. We have some old facilities that we are finding out what their stress points are, but we're being better at being responsive. And that's 100% our maintenance and facilities guys that have been able to accomplish that.
So we're not at the I understand it's doing that roof. Everything is started down, whatever.
They are. So the units at LA are all in really good shape. Our issue there is with controls. So I've had a conversation with Honeywell. If you send an installer to go install something, he's going to install something. Everything is software now. So even just updating the software on those displays for the thermostats should fix 90% of the issues. And that's just something that the technology team, our maintenance guys have kind of coordinated on and say, how do we get these things managed where we can get them updated and get them so.
Why does somebody walk over from TLC or finished? They were supposed to do.
Yeah, there has been some shifting. There was an RFP that was put out 3 years ago for HVAC and control services. At that time, there was an award given to Conti and TLC and Honeywell. And over time, those things have changed. Where primarily right now for all the hardware, it's Conti. Any other questions? Perfect. Thank you so much.
Mr. Jaramillo, I should let you know that Mount Taylor has all of their swamp coolers up and running and that was, they have water swamp coolers, but they do have them in their classroom.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jones. Appreciate the updates. Yes, ma'am.
We talked about the air conditioning units. Air conditioning went down to portable ones. Is that be available to some schools so that we can especially like the ones that are not ready.
Sure.
And when the school starts, they can get some of those supports to go to. Rooms are comfortable, and it's blazing heat out there, so.
That has been long.
We bought a truckload of those portable units, and so, and that's our goal. If once we get the project done at Grants High School, and we'll have, you know, we have a number of those units around the district, but we want to be able to, you know, if something happened and Blue Water's heat was down, we could take them out to Blue Water and make sure that we have portable units that we can use and utilize.
Thank you, sir. I believe we're ready to go to C.
At this time, Mr. Tafoya is going to come and talk about Meraki Enterprises license extension. And he'll tell you why that's important and why we need to do that.
We expect to see you guys this quickly. But yeah,
Always welcome, sir.
thank you. You're seeking an approval of a purchase that we're gonna need to make in technology to extend our licensing in the Meraki dashboard to continue managing our network for the next year. And if you're not sure what the Meraki dashboard is, it's our cloud managed dashboard online that we access and secure and manage all of our switches in the network, wireless access points throughout the entire network. So, little background on this, back in 21, we got this purchase through E-Rate, and E-Rate funded us for committees to do this. And we got 5 years licensing to get us to the next cycle in 26. However, we're which is new access points like Blue Water that didn't go through E-Rate. And of course, because Meraki does their licensing kind of strange, like an averaging of the licensing, it's chewed through some of our licenses, and we've lost about a year of, and it's created a gap of licensing coverage. So right now, I'm on my second extension from Cisco Meraki to give us a grace period to get this paid in full, because we need to fund it. But of course, I've been trying to get, you know, see if E-Rate is gonna be able to reimburse this or fund this, which was my hope, because it was an E-Rate purchase in 21. However, we won't be able to do that unless we put it out to bid in 26. Or of course, there would still have to be funds left in the budget that we exhausted in 21. So since that's the case, this will have to be a district expense. Mind you, we are looking forward to some reimbursements for 24 from the internet, wide area network and the internet access. So that could be some funding that gets reshifted right back into covering this, just for that to be known. But what other, what's that? Dollar amount is in the packet, please. It's got a lot of detail in that packet.
140.
So 147, I believe, was
147,073 and 32 cents.
correct.
And then it says potential reimbursement, which you were just talking about. And net cost would be 7,353 and 67 cents if fully reimbursed through E-Rate.
Right.
And
that
you're
was-
saying that
but it's-
may not be likely.
It's not likely we're gonna get a reimbursement. I was hoping that we could just file a bear and get that reimbursement, but this one's gonna be on the district. However, I did just quote out the 1 year just to get us through to the next cycle in 26, which we're gonna get an upgrade on this whole system. It's 5 years old, so we're gonna get new switches, access points, and the like. And I'm gonna look into a new, I guess, method of managing our licenses. They're moving to a new model, and they're talking about enterprise licensing, or there's another method as well. I'm gonna weigh them out, see what's gonna be beneficial for the district. If we wanna go with enterprise, it might be costly, but I won't take us down that road unless there could be huge benefits from it. So other than that, yeah, the licensing should be a little bit easier managed. It's not gonna be one where it's averaged out like it is now, where if I buy a new device, it steals from some of the licensing time off the other ones. So it's kind of what put us in this boat. And we've never had to bring this to the board because, yeah, we were always licensed in the past with the E-Rate funding during that year to get us to the next cycle. But this time around, it was tricky because we had to buy some new equipment for Blue Water, and just, you know, adding those new devices is what put us in a gap. So So I'm here to request that. It's essential to keep us continuing to manage the network and configure ports or keep up with the security. And, you know, without that, we're gonna be unable to manage our switches throughout the year. So it's gonna be critical, especially with everybody returning back to school and needing to be shifted around, light up new ports. There's just lots of stuff that happens on that dashboard daily, so.
Will it be a recurring every year, the recent license, or this is so?
No, this will be a one-time thing to get us through this year. 26 E-rate will fund the next 5 years of equipment and licensing. And yeah, we should be good then. And like I said, with a different model of licensing, we shouldn't be put in this situation again. This is kind of a rare situation. It caught me off guard when it happened because I was like, well, what the heck? I thought we had plenty of licensing when we bought this equipment, but when they explained it, I said, okay, now I get it, but I didn't like their licensing model one bit. But yes, I
guess
hope.
my question would be,
So the original operational budget had technology around $400,000. So that's budgeted for, this is a great example for what that's for, where like Chromebooks and things like that, you can use EdTech notes and other stuff to kind of supplement. So they're in good shape in terms of budget. They're also in good shape in terms of Isaac's expertise and having equity in the district and making those decisions. So I think he's done a fantastic job explaining, and our E-rate people are great to work with as well. And Isaac has a great relationship with that team. So I trust them when they say, we need to get through a year and then we'll reevaluate the needs of the district and we'll get it taken care of. So
well, I'm happy that you reconnected with the E-rate. I know that it was a little bit there for a while, we weren't sure what was going on. Yeah.
Doing a lot of good projects right now. We got fiber getting put in the high schools, new fiber being laid for the central office and Grants High School areas and our new building up the road. And those projects are going smoothly. And then again, that E-rate for 24 for the funding of the category 1 is gonna be reimbursable since we didn't do SPY this year, which is the service provider invoicing. We're gonna be able to request a reimbursement for that whole year of service. So I'm guessing that might cover this entire purchase right here at the amount that we pay our internet access and our wide area networks. Like 10+ circuits that we pay for internet access throughout the district, and they're all pretty pricey every month. So, you know, with that being reimbursed 90% of the district, we're gonna recoup that money real fast here. I already got those forms filled out and signed and agreed to, and the state's working on their match. So really with E-rate, we pay 5% as a district, so that's amazing. Well, I hope I covered it enough to give you guys a good explanation of what it's needed for. And if I missed any details, please refer to the piece of information I gave you guys in the packet.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you all. for your
So board
consideration.
members, this is consideration of approval of Meraki Enterprise License Extension for 1 year, as Mr. Tafoya indicated, in the amount of $147,073.32. Superintendent Widener.
I will also add, this aligns with strategic plan goal number 3 and number 4, which is safe and inclusive schools, as well as our community engagement. And so I would recommend that we approve this licensure for 1 year.
Very good. Board members, is there a motion to approve the Meraki Enterprise License Extension?
So moved.
Thank you. And a second, please.
I'll second.
Thank you, sir. It has been moved by Ms. Hunt Daly and seconded by Mr. Ortiz to approve the Meraki Enterprise License Extension in the amount of $147,073.32. Any discussion, board members?
I'm looking at the things we're paying for, these are not equipment, they're licensure, licenses. They run
The
this,
subscription license to the dashboard that we manage and control and maintain the network through that dashboard.
but we're not gonna have to repurchase these
So-
again next year.
No.
No. Thank you, and keep those E-rate people happy.
Yes, I mean, because yes, we will be purchasing again, but it will be through E-rate and it'll be a minimal impact on us, so yes.
Anything further?
No, just thank you for your work.
Yes, thank you all.
Excellent, thank you. We shall proceed to a roll call vote. Mrs. Turley, please.
Dr. Campbell, Mrs. Daly,
Yes.
Mr. Hadamir,
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz,
Yes.
Mrs. Lee.
Aye, the motion carries. Mr. Widener.
All right, at this time, I've asked Mr. Jones to talk to you about Score Vision Athletic Event Software. This is it is a great tool for our career technical ed students. It is a curriculum, it is a good way to bring people into our community and to have sponsorships for our programs at our events and activities. And it would be student run, kind of like the big boards that we have at the schools that. And we're thinking that this would impact secondary schools. And so, Mr. Jones, why don't you tell them what Score Vision is? And then we'll talk to them about the cost and funding.
Madam President, members of the board, I don't know if you're Shark Tank fans, but you're the sharks in this situation. I'm a little bit of an economic theorist, where I have these theories and these ideas about things. There's a pattern in the world, especially in the United States, where capitalism is practiced, where the generation of wealth is by purchasing assets that yield you assets, right? So you buy a house and then you rent that house. So you're converting your house into cash. You buy a ranch and then you put cows on that ranch and then you sell those cows. So you're converting your land into cows into cash. This is an opportunity that the district can make an investment so that our students can generate their own assets for their own activities. It's super unique. This is something that I have looked for because we have a lot of activities that don't have adequate opportunities to fund outside of concession stands and asking for donations and those sorts of things. So I was looking for something that when Skills USA needs to go to Atlanta like they just did, or DECA needs to go to Orlando, that they have money to do so that is totally theirs. So bear with me. I'm a little caffeinated. I will move quickly. I'm happy to stop and answer questions. This is the proposal. So our last bond issuance that was just a few months ago included that we could buy software and hardware for student usage. This would fall under that category. The platform itself is really immersive. The focus is that you can generate revenue through ad space. On the tail end, there is a sales aspect for our students. There's also a live production aspect and a visual design aspect. So this is something that, like when you talk to Ron Gonzalez about who has this broadcasting team that has won a state championship, he gets giddy because this is something that they can use now. Again, the focus would be revenue generation. And I put the CES state purchasing agreements in 3 competitive quotes because I need you to know that in my role, I will get us the best value, the best quality for price that I can get. And all of that information is available in the packet. So our bond issuance allows for electronic banners, smart boards, and video walls, and student devices with a useful life of at least 5 years. So Chromebooks are a no, because they go home with kids and they get destroyed. Smart boards are a yes, because they belong to teachers. So we just purchased the Showboss system that includes curriculum and those sorts of things that would also fall into bond money. So the bond is budgeted. We have a certain amount that we need to spend in a fixed amount of time. This will not impact operations at all. And full disclosure, we have money that we need to draw down quickly because we have all this money that's been in NMFA that we haven't drawn down since like 2019. So to put that into perspective, that means that we have built blue water with operations money instead of bond money. So now we can go and say, hey, we built a school with operations money, and then they cut us a check for that back so that operations doesn't take the hit. So objective one, and this is the Score Vision software itself, there were a couple of links in the packet. There was a school district in Wisconsin, and you need to look it up on Google Maps. We're talking 1A, we're talking Rama sized, the school district. They generated $170,000 worth of revenue in 1 year
1 year.
by selling ad space.
Wow.
So they sold ad space to local businesses, so tire shops and insurance agencies and restaurants. They also sold ad space to higher education. They're trying to recruit high school kids to go to college. So they had ads from their community college playing and also their state university. So there's plenty of potential for us there as well in those same industries. So this is in no particular order, but objective number one, you increase the legitimacy of your production during your sports events. These screens are incredible. It's like having 4K, except 10 feet by 7 feet. This is gonna make it more immersive for our spectators, more engaging for our students and athletes. It does scorekeeping, digital media, highlights, and technology. So in the video as well, there's a clip of this girl that pops up and shoots a three and it hits, and there's this whole animation that plays. That's something that is within our wheelhouse and our skill set to be able to do. In my mind, I think that we need to have a hawk that swoops down and grabs a ball and dunks it every time somebody hits a three in Laguna. And I think that the cannons need to go off every time somebody hits a three at Grants High School, or a dig or a spike, or a goal in soccer or whatever it is. This is something that I think that we could increase attendance as well to these events.
So if I may,
Yeah.
This isn't just a screen. This is
Hardware
whole-
and software.
hardware, software,
And
curriculum.
yeah, so our
Teacher, students.
So this is I'm jumping ahead. Pardon me. Go ahead and finish. Sorry.
So I will touch on that. So it's really to use my grandmother-in-law's language. This is the grand poobah of video screens because it has a hardware component, which our IT team and our maintenance guys are ready to go. I will also touch the Laguna Gymnasium. I had the guys, the 3 sets of guys that quoted this, literally drooling because they said if there was ever a gym that was built for this kind of thing, because they have bleachers on all 4 sides, that it is just like magnificent. So if you look at the quote, the biggest screen that we're gonna do is actually on the west side of the Laguna Gym. And it's 220 inches diagonal. It's massive. So this is, and I'm being a little repetitive, but this means that when Amador needs to take students, they can run an ad campaign about fundraising for FFN or, and I've asked the principals from all of the schools to be here because I want this to be something that the district is doing for them and not to them, and giving them the opportunity to kind of take some ownership. Students will have opportunities at live production. This software allows for live replays. So if there's a foul that you see and we record it, we can put it on the screen and do a live replay. There's also a marketing aspect, creating this ad space. So we're doing some sales. There also is some design aspect, and all of that lives within Score Vision. They can also use the Adobe Creative Cloud that we've provided to these students to create that sort of thing. It is multifaceted. I know that it's not going to be perfect at launch. It's one of those things that we're going to have to refine and figure out how to use it. I'm hoping to get this approved tonight so that we can get the hardware installed, and then we can get our CTE teachers that are over the media and the broadcasting familiarity with these systems so that they can use it. From what I understand, volleyball is a lot easier to do than a basketball game just because of the pace of playing and things like that. So I imagine that this evolves where a few years from now, the production level is professional. So I think about the opportunities that our students have as well, because that's a huge career path. Where if you are a student at either of our high school or middle school and you have experience in live production and you have experience in making digital marketing or making sales calls or doing design, I think that it pads your resume. You know, it gives our students an opportunity to dabble in these things to make it work. So kind of the goals that I put on the right side is student activities, student meals, student travel, all that kind of things. I really want our students to own it. And I really want our CTE kids to just take off with it. There are a few schools in the state that have stuff like this. We will be considered an early adopter. I really think that this is the direction that most schools will go to in the next 5 to 10 years. The curriculum is somewhat specialized, but this is something where you could probably intern at UNM with the skills that we have now and run the Jumbotron at the pit. It also has enhanced athletic, which for me is the money guy. I'm like, get those ticket sales up because that's what's paying for meals and buses and all those sorts of things. And I just think it's new, better, different. I think that this fits well into our strategic plan and our focus on CTE of being able to give students the opportunity to work on something specialized while they are in school. And I would have loved to have been able to do this, you know, even just to dabble or just to have fun or just to make something cool. Oh, this is
That bond, is that the taxpayer, is that the one that the taxpayers put into?
that's correct. So our bonds. There we go. So our bond money is something that when you issue bonds, and we issued 20 million. We got approval from voters to issue 20 million
That was last election.
last election. So, and then we work with our bond advisor. Our bond advisor makes proposals on what we should sell based on keeping our tax rates the same. So
The homes.
the board has also made a resolution to keep our tax rates the same.
They make it, so it's not gonna affect the taxpayer, their houses ain't gonna go up.
Correct. You know,
Already done.
everything's already done. And this is money that we have an account that we need to spend. I hope that I did okay, cause I have a students, cause I do believe that there's a lot of opportunity here.
So you,
So they'll be asking us.
you included 3 bids, as you stated. Which bid is it that you are suggesting
Yeah,
the
let me-
board consider?
I wanna say it's here. Here we go.
Stay a little late just to hear that, cause I was
Yeah.
excited to hear that.
Good one, right?
Definitely will benefit the kids.
I can see that.
You have to understand, so like when there's like basketball game, volleyball games, the students there in the gym, and then during maybe a timeout or halftime, you're advertising businesses and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Or even meetings, or they can even promote, say, hey, this is a meeting, you know, the tribes having a meeting, or the city council, or, you know, whatever.
Absolutely.
And it's what I like about it, and newer board members. You probably, I don't.
Newer,
Well,
newer serving,
experience.
newer serving board
You,
members. How about that?
during COVID,
Yes.
the board approved our Mechatronic slab, we bought the animatage tables. We spent a lot of money on CTE equipment and that was part of our ESSER funds. And so it's really neat in our CTE programs to see our kids having so much hands-on.
Good luck. Really.
We haven't spent a whole lot on our broadcast pathway. We bought them some Mac computers and production computers, and then we bought them the walls, right? The production walls. But this would really prepare our kids for those careers in production and broadcasting and multimedia. And so that's, and it trains all of our kids in secondary schools. And so that's what's exciting about it. And, you know, as the director of business, you're saying, yes, it's gonna generate money. That's great. But it's also gonna give our kids those skills that can help them go get a job so they can generate their own money.
And then it'll be like, probably your freshmen and sophomores will be the ones that get good at it, cause they'll have a little bit more time. By the time they become seniors,
Yeah, so-
they'll be production.
The proposal
Fanatics.
includes, the proposal includes video walls at the middle school as well.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh, so-
what I like about this, especially now that we have the foundation and the blueprint, I mean, the DECA kids at Laguna need to be selling ad space, because that's a lot of marketing is sales.
During the game,
During the game, yeah, I mean,
show it.
So where will the revenue earned, if you wanna call it earned, but made from, you know, this advertising? What will the district be doing with that money?
yeah, so the principals that are here, if Mr. Hadamio and Stevie work with Ron and Amador and Miss Patel and Miss DeGrode and all of our sports teams that have some stake in there, that money is gonna stay at Grants High School. And the same for Miss Ray with her coaches and her clubs, that revenue will stay there. So I don't want a penny of any advertising or anything because, and don't think that I'm being a terrible person, but I would love to get to the point where between our screens and our concessions and selling ad space and doing things the right way, that there's never a question of whether or not there's funding for an activity. You know, the DECA kids need to go, and it's like, cool, Miss Amy has this fund that has money for that so that she can send them. I just, my stress to the principals would be Title IX and equity. You know, you have to make sure that every single club is getting a piece of that pie as they're participating to make sure that that works.
How would it work with science fair? You know, we just talked about last, you know, month and a half ago that the science fair kids went to International Science Fair, but that's not technically a club. Would this still be able to benefit some of those educational programs as well? Cause I'm hearing clubs and sports and things, so that's FFA, DECA, football, you know, basketball and everything, but what about some of those other things?
Yeah, so a lot of this, and this is my weakness, is the creativity standpoint. This is where I have our awesome CTE people kind of supplement that. The kind of the case study that I saw, some of it was purely awareness. We have students that are going to the National Science Fair, scan the QR code to donate some pocket change. There's things like that. There's also things like, I think that Amador should be, you know, Amador, you have 60 seconds to talk about FFA. You know, even if he's getting kids that are elementary level kids that are at a basketball game watching a sibling or a cousin or whatever, to have something to look forward to, I think that also helps. So I would think that with science fair, we should probably showcase some previous projects. And I know that with science fair as well, working with Gail and Shelby, they'll love that, because I think one thing that happens in grants is we have so many good businesses that they write the check every year for every single thing that happens, that I think that they'll see an increased value in this as well. So instead of saying, hey, we need to send kids to school or to science fair, can we have X amount of dollars? We say, hey, we can sell you some ad space for X amount of dollars and do it that way. So that Wisconsin school, they kind of had it set up in a unique way. They had like a basic level and an elite level and a preferred level where they sold different marketing packages where, you know, maybe you get all the full timeouts for a season, or maybe you get all the half timeouts, or maybe you get every time somebody scores, you know, or whatever it is. And there's lots of potential for all clubs.
Yeah.
It just needs to be done the right way.
Thank you.
Well, and I'm sure you know, Mrs. Lee, but we have clubs, we have CTSOs, we have athletic teams, we have state clubs like Mesa, right? And so we have kind of the gamut of groups. We have student government, we have Anchors Club, just all of these different categories of groups. And I think our goal, and hopefully the principals are in favor, I think our goal would be to have money for all of them. So that way they don't have to come ask the school board or get a $15,000 donation so they can travel.
Yes, ma'am.
And I know, we had a lot of concerns with different fundraising attempts, and where the money goes, people like, where is it? From that, up that raise money, and don't get to use it, only is where it's at, and that's always been an audit exception. For many years, every audit was up and not turning any money, or resources, or whatever it is. But, as you embark on this, you know that hopefully there will be no active paper money, which is being distributed, it will all be hired into a certain budget. So we can manage for that each one of those trash. Budget money. So that's what I think, we got advertising, whoever's coming to them. And pay it goes into their activity. Instead of trying to, I can foresee everybody planning for longer than the race and then we don't get. Part of it, it was 50,000 a year and we don't got to the company. We sold this out with asking. So that's gonna be a 50 fee. Especially at high school. We think that it was funny. Set up a little bit more of my concern that we don't wind up in audit exceptions. Sure didn't do it. And then the other thing is we calculate replacement costs. How long are these fees going to last? And I saw the expense. Where will we get the money to replace these streets? Take in a year, 2 years?
Sure. We'll be able to utilize our capital outlay and so bond money again. I also know that these screens, I mean, they last forever. They're waterproof, they're impact proof, they're really solid. The other thing, and I agree with you, you can have a bad plan and perfect implementation, and it's better than a perfect plan with bad implementation. So there's a saying that I really like, get all the wires in the room. So what I will do is I'll facilitate a meeting with our administrators, and I'm really excited for our administrators and kind of taking a little bit of ownership. I think something that's happened in the past is that all of the money decisions are made by the person that sits in this chair. And I just don't think that that's the way that it needs to be, especially if there's money that's generated at the site. I don't want to be the one to dictate what happens at Laguna Acoma High School because those students know what they want. So the students need to be saying, hey, we need to go to this, or we want to do this, and now they'll have the means to do it. So I need to get with the administrators and with their shareholders and say, we need to make a plan and we need to make sure that it works and that it's equitable and that it's airtight and it's totally transparent and everybody knows what FFA is making, so that when it's your turn, you know. And just making sure that that's the thing, and that's me. I'm just equitable. I try to do the best that I can to give the best opportunity to every student in the district, and our administrators really pave the way to do that.
Remember, I thought when things don't go all right, needs, and every school's gonna be different.
It is.
So that's the fact that you know, where you can include all staff in the school and have them think about, okay, well, we're gonna do this year, next year. Next time it's gonna be comfortable, we can do. And so I just, it sounds like a great plan. I wanna make sure that you develop a plan to build a budget so that you do not go awry, because it's happened a lot.
Sure.
In the last 13 years, I can hear that. Something that is an audit, exception every time,
Yeah.
every time it's a audit.
That's your wisdom, Miss Daly. Is implementation and planning is everything, and I agree. And we'll make sure that it's done the right way. And I really right, every school is different. What works at Lambs isn't gonna work at Grants High School, and it's not gonna work at LA. You know, you've got to just kind of adjust, and again, this is going to evolve. You know, this year it might be pictures instead of videos. You know, this year it might be banners instead of videos. We'll get it to where it's airtight, watertight.
As long as it's not all casinos.
It won't be.
Mrs. Elkins, Mr. Jaramillo, Mrs. Marcus. You may not know a whole lot about this, but what are your thoughts? Would you like to share that with the board?
Put you on the spot.
Just to kind of talk to this daily stuff, like, we definitely don't want a knee jerk, like, we don't wanna say, yeah, let's buy it and let's go. And so, what we try to do at Grants High School, and I can only speak for Grants High School, every single fundraiser request goes through Student Senate. And so the students are making those decisions as well. And so they go to Student Senate before they ever come to my desk. And so clubs, teams, science fair, whomever is wanting to earn funds for whatever purpose, they follow a procedure that goes to the Student Senate sponsor as well as the Student Senate. And those kids talk about that. They talk about the feasibility. They talk about, is that gonna generate, you know, time versus money? Like, am I spending 3 hours there to earn $50? Is that really a feasible thing? And then those come to me. And so after they're approved by me, they go to the district office. And then our Student Senate actually puts them on a calendar so that is equitable. And so what we found is, and you know, people's perception is the reality. We have some clubs that work harder than others. Amador and FFA, every penny that guy can find, he is out there hustling for it. You know, but there's other clubs that just don't have that drive necessarily. And so it looks like Amador is dominating the fundraising, you know, the fundraising realm, when in reality, he's one of the only ones that wants to do that. You know what I mean? He's one of the only ones that wants to spend a Saturday at the football game, or he wants to, you know, go solicit or whatever it is. And so that's super equitable. And like I said, I can only speak for my site, but super equitable in how we do that. So just to give you some context, at graduation, the big screen that we had on our stage, you will not see an adult running that. You will not see an adult running that. One, because I am 37 years old and I'm not gonna learn. That's craziness, right? I'm not gonna do that. But that system arrived on our campus about 4 days before graduation. It was set up by students. It was run by students. It was led by students. The live feed that you saw during those things was by students. So when I tell you that our students are eager for that kind of thing, and when I mean students, I mean all students. I mean female students, male students, Hispanic students, Native American students. Those programs have a plethora of kids in there, and they're super, super diverse. And so there's 100% a need. We have had to add a broadcasting teacher we've had to kind of get creative and add a broadcasting teacher to our matrix this year, an additional broadcasting teacher, because there's so much interest in that program. We do digital film production, we do marketing, we do advertising, we do business communications. And like I said, when I tell you that those are student run and student led, I truly mean that. Mr. Jaramillo knows how to fix it if something's wrong, but our hope is that those kids build that. And so as far as longevity, I didn't know this until very recently because I cleaned out the vault over the summer. They're in little tiny pieces. If corner, you know, right corner goes out on that, you're just gonna pull that corner off and you're gonna replace it. It's not a grand scale replacement. And so I can see it being wildly beneficial for fundraising purposes, but also wildly beneficial for the experience itself. You know, when I go to a game and I am sitting in a pit-like environment and they cut to a kiss cam or they cut to, you know, a lookalike cam. It enhances the experience of those events, whether it be graduation, whether it be athletics, whether it be Native American ceremony, that's going to enhance those events, that's going to put a spotlight on, and again, sorry, Grants High School and what Grants High School's doing. Like, hey, you know, I was in town for my nephew's basketball game, but I saw this really cool thing that was going on out there. We should come back. You know what I mean? It's worth the trip. And if I'm making the trip, I am spending money at a concession stand, I am buying some swag, I am doing all of that kind of stuff anyway. So I think we're in full support of that, obviously, you know, anything that can enhance what we're doing at Grants High School is, and it's not costing any money out of kids' pockets, you know what I mean? And it's enhancing the kids' experience. That's a win in itself. And with new graduation requirements, those are students' capstone projects. They graduate with an industry certification and we send them to Pope Joy Hall. Whereas not very many places in the state can send a kid packaged and ready to go work at Pope Joy or to go work at Netflix or to go work at Facebook. So
So the soul.
Well,
we're selling them.
like with the show boss equipment, when we got it and set it up for graduation, show boss came down to make sure everything was set up perfectly. We kind of planned it perfectly. He was
To the date.
excited to see that the kids were running it. He said, "You guys are gonna do live feed? You guys are gonna do that?" And show boss is a company that works and gets contracted out for concerts and events. He said, "We would bring those kids on the minute they graduate to come on the road with us to tour with these big concerts and things like that." And so definitely fits right in with that. The advertising, I think that we have just lots and lots of opportunities. We can highlight local community things here. I could see Main Street buying an advertisement for the light parade. I can see Main Street advertising for the spokes on 66, and they have money for that and for advertising, and I can see that. I can also see bigger corporations outside of our community that we work with, Conti, TLC, Honeywell, paying to purchase an ad for our community as well. So I think there's like, if a little school generated 170 in a year, I think we can definitely do more to that. Again, start slow though, before we
Build.
Yeah.
Build that.
For the middle school, we're just excited for the opportunity to have 7th and 8th graders be able to experience something like this is only gonna prepare them that much more for the high school.
And we had, in the spring, we actually had an after hours night for middle school kids to come to the school, which we felt was be more beneficial for them to meet and talk to the teachers, talk to the kids versus just kind of a presentation like, hey, sign up for my class. And like I said, that yielded the necessity for an additional broadcasting teacher with the request that came only from the middle school. So that's about to blow up and it's about to do a lot of big things for our community. And truly, in a gym of our size, there's not another entity in Grants or in Laguna that houses that many people at once. You know, like a Friday night basketball game is where you're going to run into more people in the community than you do in any other sector because we're just able to do that. And kids have interest and investment in, adults have interest and investment in kids. Kids are, that's it.
Our future.
That's it. That's it. That's all we got. That's all we got. So full support. And when I tell you that we will commit fully to reaching its max potential as far as curriculum and academics, clubs, athletics, all of that, and advertising, we will hit that part 100%.
Thank you.
I just want to mention, again, I guess he is busy because he made a float for the 4th of July and won.
I'm telling you that.
He's a
So
hustler
just what
guy.
you just said, I see it, like I said, in the community sees it, that he's out there, so. He is hustling.
Board members, I should let you know, Mrs. Marcus is the new athletic director at Los Alamitos. And so she's very excited to work with Los Alamitos.
For safety.
And her first day on the job.
We're doing it in the-
One second.
Miss Johnson doesn't have an email yet, and so I know we haven't been getting emails to her.
Who's that?
Miss Ray and Miss Johnson?
Her first day was today.
Yeah, Ms. Johnson's first day was today and I invited them both.
Miss Johnson is the new athletic director.
Mr. Jaramillo wanted me to point out something. I'm really excited, so much so that I could cry. These will be replacing the scoreboards. So they are score vision, half scoreboard, half ad space. So it's
For one.
it's a 2-for-1
And upgraded scoreboards with.
with
Upgrading the score, that's very crucial in
Yeah.
games.
What's kind of crazy about the score vision software is there's the score production side of things and then there's the live production side of things. It's so easy. It's all touchscreen. You hit a button and it adds a point. You hit, the 2 point, 3 point, whatever. This will also allow for our people to keep detailed fouls by player. I mean, it does everything. We were looking at all the offerings. It will keep score on multiple courts. So if you had a basketball tournament and you had 2 games going at the same time,
Sometimes the girls are playing at the same time.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you had.
it has
Or the boys.
it has pickleball scoring and,
Pickleball.
and tennis scoring. I mean, it has, if there's a sport.
Are we
can-
starting that, y'all? Pickleball?
Indoor pickleball.
PE.
I mention that just because it's our scoreboards at Grants High School are,
They're ready.
they're. Come out, just assess what we had and they're like, those ones need to be updated soon. So instead of just updating scoreboard, if we do Jumbotron scoreboard together, it's almost like you're getting 2 for 1.
Yes.
That's true.
Sorry.
Baby steps. Full disclosure, I have them working on a quote to do both football, soccer stadiums at both high schools. I would like to do that soon. I don't know that we can do it without impacting this season. So as soon as soccer and football are over and we can get crews there and we can get board approval and get all of that done, I'll have another proposal because I think that that's totally untapped as well.
And Bloomfield has something similar, a huge Jumbotron on the access.
Baseball field is all.
They were
there's-
the first early adopters of that.
Dr. Archambault, you had a question?
Apologize.
Sorry.
The funding, these are technical statements, comments. We said that it doesn't state here where the funding is coming from. In your Board of Education, this is stated. So is it actually from the funds?
It's the one money. Correct.
You said we had $20 million. And so this is one, is
The last bond election was for 20 million. We have sold and issued 15 million of those to keep our tax rate the same. We have an additional 5 million that we will issue not in 26, but in 27. The total balance that we have within MFA, meaning the last time that we drew down bond funding, is close to $21 million because we have paid for so much of our capital projects without operations money. So when I say we have money and we need to spend it, I mean it, because when you issue those bonds, they give you 3 years to spend the money. And then after those 3 years, you kind of end up in a pickle where you needed to do projects because that's what you took to the voters. The voters said yes. and you didn't follow through. So I'm really trying to keep us compliant with NMFA, who have sold our bonds for us and is holding that money.
Madam President, listed down some basic questions that are questions for people in the community. When, and since we said that this is coming from the bonds, then I then said to myself, okay, what would the voters, when the voters approved the bonds in the elections, we had told them we were going to use those funds for specific projects over time.
Correct.
One of the things that voters would want to know, what are the projects that we voted for? And they're not necessarily specific. Bonds don't necessarily specify every little, they kind of give general, and then we identify some major ones, but then we still are developing, like you said, some needs assessments as to what else we need. And sometimes these come up without us knowing it, and emergencies. So, but the voters want to know that. That means we need to make sure we spend the money in wise ways that are going to affect the education system of the district.
Correct.
And they want to know, have we achieved our goals? They want to know what impact will these things have on learning. And since a lot of the big ticket items are facilities and structures, it's kind of hard to say that it impacts reading and math. But they'll want to know, is it going to help improve the
It
education?
does.
But
Sorry.
what I'm saying is that there are other things that are closely tied to teaching and learning that we spend bond money on. So some of the questions that I heard board member Daley mentioned has to do with making sure that these funds are spent wisely. And what I believe that we need to ensure is that there is observed written objectives for what we're doing with this. And there should be a sheet of paper that basically says, this is the objectives for this. And we should outline how it's going to be used, how many kids are going to be essentially about the curriculum that they were talking about. And I'm curious as to which kids are going to benefit on this phone. How do we plan to get kids involved? And which courses are going to be available to tie into this? So those kinds of questions I'm still, we need to have an ability to present our rationale explanation for the public about why this is going to be beneficial to our district's program. And those are the kind of things that I'm looking at. One of the major uses of bonds is technology and the advancements of technology. So that's one of the things we know, we've done that before. So this is a big ticket item. The public needs to be assured that it's going to have value, long-lasting value, that we can document that as time goes by. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Board members, at this time, we have consideration of approval of Score Vision sports screens at our 3 secondary schools. That would be Los Alamitos, Grants High School, and Laguna Acoma High School. Mr. Jones indicated that he would like for us to consider the DSI quote, and that is $693,080 even. And I don't know what else I was gonna say. This would be the exhaustion. I apologize. Superintendent Widener, perhaps you could give us a
President Lee,
recommendation, sir.
I do wanna clarify a little bit, because we are streaming the meeting, right? To our voters, we went to the voters and we said that we needed money for career technical education programs and technology for that. And we also had, we still have plans to build a new school for Mount Taylor. We just, PSFA hasn't ranked them enough, so they,
Schools ahead of them.
so, yeah, so we have to, the state has to rank Mount Taylor at a certain category before we can replace it, so. They've done a good job taking care of that school at Mount Taylor, so but we have plans and we do wanna replace Mount Taylor as well, so. My recommendation is that we do approve DSI's bid for $693,080. Mr. Jones, you might clarify to them that Los Alamitos is its own middle school, because they don't have Los Alamitos on the quote. So we need to make sure that they have Laguna Middle School, and I bet they just probably typed that in there wrong, but let's make sure they know it's Los Alamitos.
Good catch, sir.
And on the pricing, just really quick, again, I got competitive quotes from 3 different suppliers of this hardware and software, and these were the best. All 3 of them are CES vendors. All 3 of them have state purchasing agreements. Doing the 3 quotes allows us the flexibility to get the best value for the district.
Thank you, sir.
Same quality as everything.
Absolutely. They're the exact same specifications. They're the exact same everything. It's just who wants the business more.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Widener. Thank you very much, Mr. Jones, for all of this information. So board members, is there a motion to approve the Score Vision sports screens at our 3 secondary schools, Lambs, GHS, and Laguna Acoma, in the amount of $693,080 with DSI?
So moved.
Is there a second? Thank you. It has been moved by Mr. Jaramillo and seconded by Ms. Hunt Daly to approve the Score Vision sports screens at our 3 secondary schools in the amount of $693,080 with DSI. Is there any further discussion on this, board members?
Can always, make sure it's a good product and we're not gonna be getting stuff that's gonna fall apart here quickly, and same like I said, we gotta be accountable to the taxpayers and.
For sure. All right.
Another one, it was, let's see, when it first came on board, it was building an auxiliary gym for the Laguna Acoma, because we're gonna have the little guys come in and learn practice. I think it was being in.
Definitely need more gyms, we do.
We were told PSSA would not approve new buildings. Roughly up 2 million. And we know what's, here and there, and I know that's gonna be kicked off from our communities. When are we gonna get that new store, which is good? Now I'm gonna take that away, it's paid now. But just, that's something that might. Quality. Back to. Quality here. sure that, you know, these things are happening. And if it's at the high schools, at the middle schools, that they're building a program with CTE. Ensure that there's a broadcasting, maybe class or presentation, something so that they get that experience. Here, as far as making sure that the ADs at each school know how they're being operated. It's more than likely be the ones that control that.
And I think that's a great suggestion. Sorry for inputting. This is board talking time, but we can have a facilities master plan work session and talk, because we need to know that those are priorities in the communities and involve the stakeholders and you know, because if they've wanted an auxiliary gym, that needs to be a, you know, because eventually PSFA is gonna rank and then they'll say, okay, you can do.
And extra gyms come in handy for
Okay,
emergency.
let's get back to our action items
Sorry, President.
before I fall asleep on the floor. Anything further, board members, on this item? All right, hearing none, roll call please, Mrs. Turley.
Shambo,
Yes.
Miss Daly,
Yes.
Mr. Hadamio,
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz,
Yes.
Mrs. Lee.
Aye, the motion carries. Thank you very much, Mr. Jones.
I'll make the taxpayers.
Thank you guys so much. for-
I get to do this, the
Okay,
next
so this can be
presentation.
done. Yes, sir.
And-
We're done with our sidebars, sir.
Interestingly, it comes from our instructional department. And you'll notice tonight we're a little light on leaders, district leaders. There's the leadership conference going on in Albuquerque, so I told Dr. Martin and Mrs. Griego, don't worry, I can handle this. So what I'm gonna report to you tonight is just informational. There's no action that we have to take, but I want the board to know. We're spending quite a bit of money on the platforms that we utilize in our schools. We have technology platforms where, you know, students are on the computers and they're practicing math and they're taking assessments and we have TESOL trainers programs and the State Instructional Materials Bureau gives us the funding for all of this, right? And so we've kind of weaned down the amount of platforms that we have, but there are 6 platforms that we would like to renew. We want to renew it's a year-to-year contract, licensure. We have a contract with Amplify, Curriculum Associates, Renaissance, TESOL Trainers, Lexia, and Archway. And you have those packets in your binders, and I just wanted you to know that it is that time of the year where we are going to renew these subscriptions.
Can you explain to the audience and to the board where the funding for this comes from and?
Yes, it comes from the Public Education Department. They have a bureau called the Instructional Materials Bureau. And when they do the state budget, the Instructional Materials Bureau gets a bucket of money and they give it out to, each school gets an allocation based on their numbers. Each district gets an allocation. And so they also help us with the textbook adoptions. So when this year it's science adoption, next year it's math adoption, and they help fund all of that. And so it falls under, these funds don't apply to state procurement law because they're the state's money. But that is how we are spending a portion of our instructional materials money.
Thank you for that clarification. Any questions for Superintendent Widener?
Maybe not, Mr. White, I'd like to hear from the principals on all these platforms. Are you using that? Are they useful? Is it working or is it working?
So I can actually talk to a lot of these platforms. Amplify, this is used in elementary. I can go up elementary.
Just stand behind the podium just so we have you.
So
Thank you.
I just know from recent, Mount Taylor, so we use Amplify. This is a good source for our core curriculum. A lot of the teachers can log into the platform and actually assign the assignments into their Google Classrooms. I can go next to Renaissance. I know Renaissance is used to take AR tests. The students will read a book, take a test with 5 or 10 questions to see if they're comprehending. Their scores will determine if their levels need to be changed. TESOL's trainers, I believe it's a program. Most of the teachers go through it, so they are able to teach all of the students within their class that have ELL or thing. Lexia also is a platform for K through 12, K through 5. It's a skills-based program that has the students take a entry test, and if they score into the pre-K, if they score into pre-K or kindergarten or first, they can score above grade level or below grade level, and it just goes to their skills. So if they're lacking anything for ELA, it builds upon or it builds on. So it doesn't just, it's actually can build with the students.
We don't know.
Oh,
Archway's the books.
I do.
Oh.
Archway is the depository for the science adoption.
Archways, the books.
So some of the things, I can speak to Renaissance, TESOL trainers and Lexia at the secondary level. I'm sorry, Lexia from a teacher's perspective at the elementary level, but we heavily use Renaissance at Grants High School. We use that for our benchmark assessments. We use that for reporting to the state quarterly and middle of the year, end of year. That's the data that comes from that. That's also the data that we align with like SAT and proficiency rates to just kind of see the correlation between the two and kind of see it laterally, so you can kind of make comparisons as to the test itself. We don't necessarily use it as like a testing platform for reading books and stuff at the secondary level. It also, Renaissance also embeds Level Up. It also embeds 2 intervention pieces, one for math and one for ELA. And so once you take those STAR tests, it puts you in a place where your homeroom teacher can assign these extra interventions, like fundamental interventions. Like if it determines that a student at the high school level is struggling with mathematics facts and multiplication facts, it will provide that support, because a high school teacher doesn't necessarily have the time. I mean, they should have the knowledge, but you know what I mean, to level that, to level it up to a high school level where they can understand and not teach it like you're teaching 2nd, 3rd grade. And so it does that for you. I want to say that the 3 of us up here were the very, very first cohort of TESOL trainers in this district. And so we've been doing it that long. And from a teaching perspective, those are wildly beneficial, because that it just opens up your toolbox to be able to support English language learners, Native American speakers, students who do not speak at all, students who are visual learners, students who need just that extra level of support. It's interactive, and we were always impressed with its transferability, because when the 3 of us did that, we were, I don't know about you, but upper elementary teachers, middle school level, teachers. And it's easily transferable to the secondary level. It doesn't necessarily look the same, but that's one of those things that has been wildly beneficial.
Have
for
strategies
everybody.
for teachers to come to the training 1 month and go back the next day in the classroom. Beneficial for brand new teachers to be part of those programs, which that's kind of what we want our new teachers to be part of those TESOL groups, but also beneficial for some of our veteran teachers who need a refresher on some of the newer strategies and things to engage students. People trainers is, I believe, 10 years in the district. And this will go on 11 years that we've used TESOL trainers. So, for one that has benefited our.
Those are loud, interactive, engaging classrooms that we're looking for. That's taking the kids' nose out of the computer and out of the book and into the classroom. And then, I'm familiar with Lexia from a teaching perspective, and that always helped me because like I said, I was not a lower or early childhood person by any means, but you would get kids that needed phonetic support and phonemic awareness, and I don't necessarily know how to teach them that. That would provide them with those skills and those computer skills to gain that phonemic awareness and to gain that phonetic strategy. And, you know, even so far as to like how you speak and how you move your lips when you're saying things. And so, it fills in a gap for everyone. Like I said, we were always upper elementary teachers. Vanessa she did the littles, but we never dipped lower than 6th grade. And so that really provided those teachers with the ability to intervene in ways that we weren't necessarily trained to do so. I don't know anything about curriculum.
Like to target your tier 2, tier 3 students. And so it's a very beneficial tool, the elementary, not necessarily in school, high school.
But there is core 5. So core 5
Could
is
go to
6th,
8th.
8th if we decided to use that.
But we like them.
They've
Yeah,
all-
Thank you.
Yeah,
They've all
Check
all
that
worked in
check.
elementary.
Not the way to go to move up, you go from the bottom up.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
And again, presently, that was information, yes, and you want me to move on to the next one?
That would be great.
I kind of gave you guys a little commercial last week in our work session. I talked about that I've had ongoing mentorship for the last year and a half, and I partnered with Mrs. Lightfoot on that, and we started doing a lot of work on our systems district-wide and policies, procedures, and how we implement those procedures. And I mentioned her by name, but tonight I'm very excited to introduce you all to Amanda Gallegos Ortiz. Amanda is now working in quality assurances under my office and human resources. She's working very hard on these systems. She's working very hard to make sure that our policies are all compliant. You know, if like 2 weeks ago, or last month, Dr. Guy had some changes on some of those policies that we adopted. And so we need to make sure that what we post on the website is the actual policy as, you know, as we adopted it, as you voted for it. And so Amanda's been working very hard on that, and I'm very glad to have her on board. She is going to present to you the staff handbook. She can get through it pretty quickly, but we have a really nice comprehensive staff handbook that we would like to share with you.
Madam President. I had to take a break. And I must have missed all the presentations on the curriculum purposes.
It's just it's the renewal of our subscriptions for those, and that's what they were talking about. They were talking about why we utilize all of those.
Would you mind sharing with Dr. Archambault the funding source for those so that everybody can just hear one more
I
time?
bet Dr. Guy
I've seen
knows.
those two.
The only one that I knew all of them, except for the science. So,
The Archway.
yeah, because Archway is the repository.
Yes,
Okay.
Archway is the
And
book
so this is
depository.
The actual order. And it lists all the different science topics. So what I had to do is to quickly try to get a sense of what it is that we're doing. It appears that some of the materials are based upon the numbers of students. And it's not high school, it's basically K through 8 in one academic. And earth science and stuff like that. I'm just trying to make sure you can understand, I understand what it is I want to vote on.
No, no vote.
No vote?
We,
No vote.
we don't have, you guys already voted on the science adoption, the curriculum, so Archway, we have to, we pay them to deliver our books,
So
right?
these are previously adopted materials? of the
Correct.
district?
Correct.
Thank you.
And so, yes, yes, sir.
Continue on.
That's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, so you guys don't, you don't
No
have to
vote.
vote.
Bottom. I just saw
Yes.
action at the bottom, so I thought we were gonna vote on all of them. but
Yeah.
No,
And
that's,
so
yes.
if we're just
No,
doing and repurchasing all of this stuff, I just was puzzled by the archway.
Why the science, why that long
And
list
then
of science?
I looked it up and it says archway.
I think
That's why I wanted to know.
Amanda will have to check, but I would almost bet that we adopted science in March.
All the-
Maybe.
all the figures. And it'll be out of the funding.
Instructional materials.
Instructional
Yes, sir.
materials that the state sets aside.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, I'm ready to listen to employee handbook overview. Apologize,
No
I don't want to
worries.
say anything because I'm cooped up.
It's a very exciting employee handbook.
So I didn't wake you up.
Sorry.
No, no. I've been up since 2:30.
Amanda, do you wanna go, do we wanna, you wanna stay there?
Stay here.
Or do you wanna go to the podium?
I will, I will.
She's shy.
Camera,
Oh. You don't have to do that.
too late. We're zooming.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board. My name is Amanda Gallegos, as Mr. Wagner said. I am the Quality Assurance Coordinator for the district. And I will be presenting the employee handbook, which you guys should have a copy of in your packet. This guide will ensure we support our staff with clear expectations and resources for success. This handbook's not a contract, but a practical reference for employment policies, rights, and responsibilities.
We do not have the handbook. We just have the slides.
Oh.
Just
I
an
can
FYI.
Take this off and I can show the handbook instead.
You're good with that. I'm just letting you know that we don't actually have.
Could we email it to the board members?
That would probably be the best solution
We'll-
because too many pages to
We'll let
print
her
right
go through
now.
the presentation and then
Okay.
we'll,
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry,
Me-
but I
that's
thought
okay.
you should know that we don't have it right here.
Okay, I thought we did. We're good. It's also available online as well.
Perfect. Thank you for that clarification. I'm sorry for the interruption, but I thought it was the right time.
Yeah. So the handbook is broken down into 9 comprehensive sections. Each section will cover different aspects of requirements within our school district. And we can go over it after we finish this. It aligns with our policies and procedures, our negotiated agreement, and with NMPED requirements and of course, New Mexico law. Our mission emphasizes whole person development. Our vision supports inclusive and respectful learning. And our values, collaboration, integrity, betterment, opportunities, leadership, and accountability anchor everything that we do at GCCS.
How much is it good for the original? Or is this totally new? We never had one like this.
We have not had a handbook. I don't know how many years it's been, but this is completely new. The district strictly adheres to federal civil rights and ensures a harassment-free workplace with appropriate accommodations. And we encourage open and safe reporting for any concerns staff may have. We're available at any time within HR if they need to come and report anything to us. We believe our staff are role models regardless of the position they hold, from our custodians to our administrators. This handbook details conduct expectations, conflicts of interest, FERPA compliance, and requirements for maintaining professional boundaries with students and staff. It also goes over employee benefits, paid and unpaid leave that is available. We have access to mental health through Talkspace for our staff. And of course, we have voluntary deductions at staff members' request. Also,
What do you mean by voluntary deduction?
so if they're requesting voluntary deductions for benefits such as AFLAC or insurances that they're for grievances and discipline, there is a clear grievance process within our policies and procedures with the escalation up to arbitration if needed on grievances. For disciplinary action, we have tiered disciplinary actions and due process is always ensured. Representation and anti-retaliation protections are also in place for our staff. All of our employees are evaluated annually and the handbook does go over that. Our teacher evaluations also align with NMPED requirements. Continuous growth is not only encouraged, but it is expected with our staff members. Our roles are clearly defined through our organizational chart, which is something that we have not had in a few years. Again, this is a completely new organizational chart because there are changes that Mr. Weiner has changed throughout the district. This ensures accountability and continuity at all levels. And one other thing that we have in the handbook that we are asking for this year is for employees to sign acknowledgement that they have received the handbook and that it is their that they are expected to stay current with all of the policies and procedures. So the site administrators will go over the handbooks with all staff. All staff will sign the handbooks and then the signed acknowledgement will go into each employee file. And again, HR, myself, we're open to any questions that staff members may have concerning handbooks, policies, and procedures. Yes, ma'am. So we have been going over this handbook since February. And we have had several meetings with several different staff members, getting input, and just from February to now, we have just gone from something that was just ideas down to what you will see as far as our handbook is concerned.
It's really exciting too, because it takes your policies, because you guys as a board pass the policies and gives us the procedures how to implement those policies
And is this live on the website already?
it is, yes. And Mrs. Charlie shared
Thank you.
it with you all.
Thank you.
And it's definitely our staff stakeholders have been very involved and you know, this aligns with strategic plan goal number 2, which is highly qualified staff of teachers and employees.
Ms. Gallegos, I see that you have the PDF up right there, but would you mind going to the grants website and just walk us through?
So this is something that's gonna be new this year as well. We've always had the policies available to staff members and the general public, but one thing we have not had is availability of our handbook and our procedures that we have in place. And that's something we've been working on with administrators and different people the teachers who are boots on the grounds every day that do these procedures constantly, we've had their input with these new procedures that we're putting in place. And so we have availability so that, if a teacher at Blue Water needs a form, for a certain procedure, it's gonna be the exact same form that a teacher in Cubero is gonna be using. So we make sure that every single teacher is using the same forms regardless of what school site they're at. And that's what we're wanting for this, so that everybody is on the same page when it comes to our district procedures and our policies. Okay,
Thank you.
so, it's on our website under GCCS procedures. It's password protected for staff. And we will be giving the password out to staff members so that they can get into it. So this is what our page looks like. It goes over why our procedures are important. Our staff handbook is right here for them to click on, and it'll pull up the staff handbook.
Excellent.
And then if you scroll down, it will have our procedures. It'll have the policy that goes with each procedure. And that's our board policies. And then if you scroll over, it has the procedure, our current procedures that we should be using, and then it has any forms that they will need in order to use those procedures. So if we go into student assessments, you can see that those are the 4 policies that that we will follow for student assessments. The procedures that come up, and I know this is kind of going away from the handbook, but I think it's important. So these are the procedures that we will go through, or that a staff member will go through and follow. We have linked NMAC rules, we have state statutes, we have forms that they'll need for these procedures. Anything that has to do with NMPED, we will link those things so you can go straight to the NMPED website. If you need information for that area, it's linked. And then at the bottom of each of our procedures is linked any of the, so it's kind of the same way as our policies are done. We've done it the same way. So we'll see the NMAC rules, the state statutes, and any cross-reference to our policies that we need. So it's in the procedures, but it's also just there on the website that you can click any of those.
Excellent.
So
Thank
we've
you.
just made it as accessible as possible, regardless of where you're at in this,
Across the
Wonderful.
board.
across the board, yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Staff can access it or can, meeting.
This is for staff.
Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate you walking us through that.
I'm the quality assurance coordinator. And so our staff handbook is right here, available for download for any of our staff members. Our table of contents, like I said, it's built into 9 different sections. An introduction to the district, the school board, aspects of employment, our employee benefits, staff evaluation, business office information as far as our procedures are concerned. We'll go over vehicle usage, district keys, accident reports under operation. Yep. And then of course we have additional topics like personal property, staff meetings, things like that, that of course will be compliant through our CBA. And then anything having to deal with what staff should be doing when it comes to students, such as our 504 plans, things like that. So those are all in our handbook. And then of course the employee acknowledgement form is at the end for them to sign. So as you go through the handbook, you will also see links in our handbook to those areas as well. So we've linked every policy for each section. We've linked forms for each section. So it's all there for staff to
Thank you.
get to.
Board members, do you have any questions for Ms. Gallegos at this time? And do you prefer Gallegos, Ortiz, or Gallegos? Is okay?
Yes.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Amanda, can we share the code? Can we share a code with the board members?
Yes, it's,
Don't say, do not say it out loud.
Yeah,
okay,
we're streaming.
Sorry. yes.
We'll share it
The
with the
first
board.
letter's G.
So,
Yes.
and to your email.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's in, yes, thank you. Yeah, let's not do that one out. Full stop on that one, ma'am. Board members, questions for Ms. Gallegos?
You've been busy since February. You did
Excellent.
it within half a year, I guess. huh?
It's
6 months.
really exciting and it's neat to see it coming together and
Yes.
it has been so much stakeholder input.
Yeah.
Very good.
And it all goes in with when we were running is we wanted all the schools to be on the same page and all the same policies.
All right, thank you so much. Mr. Widener, I believe we still have Ms. Gallegos.
Ms. Gallegos to come and help. We need to do the second read of our OMA and we need our OMA. And so I've asked Ms. Gallegos if she would help us with our second read tonight. Then we'll take action on that, hopefully.
Madam President, members of the board, I've been asked to present the second read for the Open Meeting Act resolution for 24-25 school year. As you can see under section 1, all of the holiday dates for this school year have been entered in red. In section 3, including work sessions has been added as requested. In section 5, the superintendent's phone number information has been added. And those are all in red. So this is the final draft presented for approval. If there's any further questions concerning this resolution.
Board members, I'll make note that we had Ms. De Santiago work with us in our work session, and she did make these changes and submitted them, but Ms. Gallegos is the one who is doing that second read for us.
Did we fix the one about getting to the Pueblo and stuff?
Tired of being there.
And we also fixed the one where we're all to be able to get.
Because board member Ms. Hunt Daly indicated that
Okay, I
the
see it.
tribe wanted it
Facsimile,
to
yeah.
stay the way it actually, that did not end up needing a red line change. All right, board members, we have consideration of approval of the Grant Cibola County Schools 2025-2026 Open Meetings Act resolution. Superintendent Widener.
I recommend that we approve the 2025-2026 Open Meetings Act resolution.
Excellent. Board members, is there a motion?
So
I'm gonna give it to Guy, and Walter snuck in at the second. It has been moved by Dr. Archambault and seconded by Mr. Hadamio to approve the Cibola County Schools 2025-2026 Open Meetings Act resolution. Any further discussion, board members? Hearing none, we shall proceed to a roll call vote. Mrs. Turley, please.
Dr. Ashambo?
Yes.
Ms. Daly?
Yes.
Mr. Hadamio?
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz?
Yes.
Ms. Lee?
Aye, the motion carries. Next, board members, we have our consent agenda. This includes the bills and expenditures report for June of 2025 and 2 bars as included in our packet. One for the NMPED Comprehensive Literacy State Development Mini Grant, and the second is the Teacher Principal Training and Recruiting. Superintendent Widener.
I recommend that we approve the consent agenda items.
All right, board members, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as listed?
So move.
You're just half a second late on this, sir.
Two again.
I just want.
It has been moved by Ms. Hunt Daly and seconded by Mr. Jaramillo to approve the consent agenda as listed, including the bills and expenditures report for June 2025 and the 2 bars as listed. We shall proceed to a roll call vote. Mrs. Turley, please.
Dr. Hashem,
Yes.
Ms. Daly,
Yes.
Mr. Jaramillo,
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz,
Yes.
Ms. Lee.
Aye, motion.
Consent agenda, is there?
No, we don't discuss the consent agenda, but thank you for that, sir. Genuinely, that's why we don't have discussion listed, because the consent agenda is what is presented.
I went to a meeting, I went to a conference and then the consent agenda came up, but we can talk about it later. too.
Yeah, well, during future board,
Yeah, I'll
Stop.
bring it up at the work session.
thank you for your question and wanting to bring that up, sir. Mr. Widener, announcements, sir.
But I'm glad you went and learned some stuff.
Yes. Excellent.
Announcements. As you guys know, this is the busy time. We are ready for kids to come back and getting ready and we are going to do our leadership summit next week, the 22nd through the 24th. We're going to stay local. We're gonna stay home. We're gonna go to Sky City. We're going to take people around the district and show them, you know, where our kids live and where they come from. And so we're ready to do the Charging the Storm Summit next week. Our staff will return on August 4th, and they'll be preparing and training and getting ready to have students. Students will return on August 7th. So if people are watching and wondering when school starts, August 7th, you'll send your kids back to school. Future agenda items, Dr. Guy, you've been really good about sending me future agenda items, and so I'm trying to kind of keep it updated. We do have the need for a work session. We're gonna try to schedule one for July 31st. I think you guys are working on that.
We are.
So topics that will be discussed at the work session, probably we'll talk about timed agendas, the superintendent evaluation instrument that we're getting it shiny. It's gonna be real shiny. NMSBA policy services, district policy updates. We need to talk about our district legislative priorities. You know, if we're thinking about schools and how we're gonna do stuff. So we'll talk about legislative priorities.
I think in this, Mr. Jaramillo wanted to mention something for the work session
Just
that
some-
he'd like to
Just
talk
something that I
about.
learned over that retreat about the consent agenda.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Well,
You
I just
want,
wanted work session.
you wanna include consent
Yes.
agendas? Okay, will you write that, Mrs. Lee?
Yes, sir.
And then Mrs. Hunt Daly brought up that we probably need to start talking about our facilities master plan. And cause we need to know if, you know, where we're going and if we need auxiliary gyms and
They come in handy in emergencies, like
Yeah.
if they have to evacuate people, there's
Yeah.
a place for people to go.
Yeah. So, and then other items that should be on future agendas, the Verkada update, the strategic planning work session, we definitely need to start working more on our strategic plan. I do want to introduce you all to the new faculty, the new staff. You met Miss Marquez tonight, Miss Gallegos, and so want to make sure that you know who the new people are that are here working. We do need to have NMSBA policy service advisory updates, just to make sure that what we're posting on the website is what you voted on as a board. We will need to talk about the IPP for 25-26. the student handbook, equity council. As you know, we had a good equity council and we haven't, we need to get back to having a good equity council. There's a couple of students that want to graduate early and so they'll be coming to see you in August. Mrs. Hunt Daly, we talked about Yazi Martinez and what we're gonna do, and so that's something that we need to talk about in a future board. And then tribal consultation plans and how we're gonna do tribal consultations.
Very good. Sir,
That note. Since we're identifying some of our proposed items, let me just highlight the ones that I sent to you and both of you. Number one was action item to discuss targeted student outcomes for 25-26. And the discussion of the plan doesn't mean that we have to discuss and plan how that's going to be stated. But we need to have a unified set of targeted student outcomes for the next year. And based upon our goals, utilizing the most recent data, the NAMASA data that's come through. I know we have the data now and need to make use of that. The growth goals that we have, particularly for the Yazi Martinez. But this is just, I'm just highlighting some of the things. The action item was that we targeted student outcomes for next year. Another item was discussion and determination of legal services structure. We haven't really
right.
fine tuned that yet, and so we just need to have, we're either gonna do that in executive or in open session. You can tell me.
Yep.
How that plays out. Then item 3 was status of the Continental Divide building purchase, renovation, completion, and timeline. Item 4, status of potential federal funding freeze and fiscal impact upon the district. Apprising stakeholders and tribes of funding status. Legal examination of the implications to be obtained and possible board action. That one's probably an in progress kind of thing. As things happen at DC, we won't know until that very day.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's probably gonna be ongoing as either what's gonna happen, so we can have some discussion about that. Thank you.
A plan.
All right, anything else for future agenda items, board members?
There's a budget report. I spent a lot of money. I'd like to see where we're at and make sure that. I know some of it's coming out of title money. We gotta make sure that that's appropriate. But I haven't gotten a line item quote on our attorney fees and stuff like that way, and then there's other stuff that in our recent discussion last program, we need to know where we're at with buildings.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that was a good idea.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
They do a brainstorming coming to them and put things on the
Yeah.
charts.
Yeah,
For sure.
and just throw a dart and hit one.
Maybe July 6th.
Okay, that's excellent. Very good.
Congratulations.
And
Let's see. You gotta be at that.
that's very important. Very, very important to be there for family. So we were talking about on the 31st, a work session. My suggestion was maybe we start at lunchtime. If that's too early for board members, I think that, we could certainly push it to a little bit later in the afternoon. I was just hoping for not a late night session like we had last time.
As long as I know I can adjust my schedule.
Some of the items that I proposed could be a part of.
Absolutely.
But I said that there would be fine tuning of some of my agenda items would need some discussion. I guess it depends on what it is that we're going to talk about. I think the superintendent's evaluation, the set of expectations, all of that we need to get to him so that he has a game plan for the coming year.
Yes, sir.
So I can't predict, but if I can make it, I will let you know. Our schedule
Okay.
varies in my family.
Of course,
Well, we for sure want you here for your stuff, though.
yeah.
Well, it's gonna be, we may end up discussing, when you flesh out the time. Put in some sequence of how
Agreed.
much time we're gonna take
Yes,
on them. And, what I was concerned about was, ensuring that, that we address the alignment of our strategic plan with the education plan, with the advanced plans, and articulate growth goals for them. So that might take some thinking through by you guys and your principals and your staff as to. Yeah. We know the data's here for the NALASA. And then how do we disaggregate that data? One of the things that we tribes want is the disaggregation by tribes. Now, there's a value to that, but there's, but it has limits.
Right.
In other words, we don't have a tribally, custom tailored set of, instructional goals. We may, with the Aussie Martinez, it said Native Americans, English learners, economically disadvantaged, stuff like that. And so we kind of know what they say. But, we probably need to flesh that out so that when your dash plans, and actually decide when those dash plans are going to be completed. And, that's part, that is probably be part of the discussion there. But I could say a little bit more succinctly.
sure. Thank you. Yeah. Ortiz, if you thought you might be available on the 31st, Mrs. Turley indicated that you might prefer a little bit later in the afternoon rather than a lunchtime start. And we're wanting to get a consensus from everybody what timing might work best.
I was thinking maybe 2 or 3.
Okay.
Which,
Which would genuinely be the best for you, sir? And then we can,
I'll say 3.
3? Okay, then that way we can at least get everybody thinking on planning that 3 o'clock. Is,
July 31st.
you know, when I talked with Mr. Widener, the 31st is the best day for him with his schedule to be able to dedicate this amount of time, because next week is all of the summit and everything like that. And then after that, the school year starts.
we do the 30th,
So 31st.
we do the 30th.
Mr. Ortiz, isn't Thursday the best day for you?
I can't do Wednesday. I mean, it'd be hard.
Oh, it is. But I could do Wednesday if everybody could do Wednesday. I don't have a problem.
Mr. Jaramillo says he can't.
Can you do Wednesday?
Mondays and
says
Wednesdays
no.
are like
Yeah.
Mondays and Wednesdays are like my crazy. Those are like serious patients.
Friday.
Could we do
I could do Friday.
Tuesday, the 29th? That's
Tues-
2 weeks from tonight?
Just Monday and Wednesdays are crazy.
We will not be able to do that because we're past posting time.
And that's not good for Mr. Ortiz.
How
That's
about
right.
Friday.
August 1st, I can do that.
First, we have
Friday, I'm good.
Okay.
Just Monday and Wednesday are crazy.
Hold on.
Are you branding to that thing?
That's today. That was today and tomorrow.
Until they send them off.
I thought you had something Friday, August 1st,
Let's do Friday.
because Thursday was genuinely 100% open for you, sir.
No, Friday, August 1st is fine.
Okay, go for it.
Same time, 3?
3?
Same time. 3 o'clock.
What about you, Mr. Ortiz, on Friday?
Yeah, he's gonna say no.
I gotta work on Friday.
Yep. I mean, Thursday is genuinely,
It'll work at 3. I mean,
Three.
you can juggle, I can move some people
Just won't
around.
work for Emily.
It just doesn't work for Emily.
How does, any, you said Wednesday's kind of tough for you.
I can figure it out. I can
It
try.
would, but it would be later in the day.
No, I mean, I'm trying to remember when my 3 o'clocks and 4 o'clock patients are, but I think we could do it.
Bring them here.
That, yeah, we'll have a work
could do physical
session.
therapy.
Like
Oh, no, you have a
worked
lady.
that out.
Be in a work session at the same time.
You got a rowing machine? We can-
Mr. Ortiz, can you do Wednesday?
What time?
3?
Yeah, I believe I can.
You said,
I can't do anything early, cause I'm coming from.
Oh, okay.
well, 3 o'clock, Wednesday,
Oh, you know, at 4:30.
go back to midnight,
Yeah, we're trying to
They
avoid
won't be eating
midnight.
also burritos again.
4:30.
If you do 4:30, I can zoom in from the school. classroom.
Or you can catch up with
On
us.
the,
We can
on
start
the
at 3.
30th?
Yeah, from the 28th. After, when the students leave at 4:30. I can zoom in.
Except for the wedding.
So
We can start at 3,
So-
then she can catch up with us. Do the work session.
You do that.
Catch up with us.
I can just spin it up. You're looking at.
Yeah.
Okay, so board members, we're saying the 30th, which is Wednesday. 3:30? Is that a happier compromise timing wise?
I'm good.
Okay,
Me too.
okay. Guy, you're the one who pushed so that 3:30 works? All right. We have a time set, so we need to get a PSA
Tomorrow.
tomorrow before 3:30 that
I'll
we're
have to
gonna
do it
do a work session.
Tonight, because I will
Perfect.
not be here. tomorrow.
Okay, so perfect. Perfect. Thank you,
We chop
board
this.
members. July 30th at 3:30 will be our work session. Excellent. Mr. Widener, do you have a recommendation?
I recommend that we adjourn.
Okay.
Do you want to adjourn and then
Yeah,
pay it?
then-
Okay, very good. Board members, is there a recommendation to adjourn as presented?
So moved, and I can't actually believe that we're leaving this early.
Right?
I'm gonna give this one to Walter. He's tried so hard. It has
Why,
been
what's that?
moved, it has been moved by Mr. Jaramillo and seconded by Ms. Hunt Daly to adjourn the meeting as presented. Mrs. Shirley, roll call please.
Dr. Ashambo,
Yes.
Ms. Daly,
Yes.
Mr. Jaramillo, Mr. Ortiz,
Yes.
Ms. Lee.
Aye, the motion carries. The board has adjourned at 7:44 PM.
And